for many of you that have an NCSA profile, you kind of are aware of what that is. But Kyle, for those families or those student athletes that haven't yet created their NCSA profile, there's a lot of different things that you can put on there. So let's talk a little bit about what to be posting on your profile. One of the most important things, if not the most important thing for your NCSA profile, is going to be your recruiting video, your highlight video, your skills video, whatever sport it is. But having a video online for coaches to evaluate on your NCSA profile is certainly critical.
Yeah, 100%. The video is going to be one of the main points of reference for college coaches. And a good way of looking at this is going to be as if it were a resume that you're trying to apply for a job. This is essentially your athletic resume. And if you're going to try and catch an employer's eye, you're going to want to put your best facts, your best information forward for that employer to want to hire you. Similarly with a student athlete, you want to put your best foot forward. You want to show a college coach every reason why they should be recruiting you over anyone else out there. And highlight video or skills video is really the main way that a college coach is going to evaluate a student athlete and a prospect. Having stats is great. Having key stats with like your numbers, your velocity, your 40 time, 60 time, all those types of metrics are great to have on your profile, but they don't necessarily talk about the level of competition you're playing against when we talk about stats. It doesn't necessarily tell the full picture of what type of student athlete you are just by having stats or metrics or information listed on there, or your team or your schedule. All those things are great to have on your profile, but the video is going to be the first thing that a college coach looks for. It's really, in most cases, the first way that a college coach will ever see you as a prospect. I can talk about my younger sister, who was a Division I college softball player. She was recruited solely off of a highlight video she made as a softball player on VHS tape in high school. Her coaches never saw her play in person once. So that just goes to show the power of video and how important it is to just initially getting recruited in the first place when it comes to college coaches.
And again, you can post your video on YouTube. You can have video on Hudl. That's great. The more places you have, the better. But also link that onto your NCSA profile. Because when a coach is in our network and they're saying, hey, we're looking for a 2021 point guard, and they pull up your profile in a search, they want to be able to see that video to begin to evaluate you. Most times a college coach is going to need to see a video first before they would even come out and see you play in person. They're not just going to show up and hope that you're good without knowing anything about you or without having seen you play on video. So again, having a highlight video is important. And Kyle, it's not just post one video and you're done. You're going to want to continue to update your video as you get older, as you get bigger, as you get stronger, as you get better highlights. How often do you think student athletes, or what should families be doing in terms of updating that video to keep it up to date in terms of where that student athlete might be in their development or in their high school career?
Yeah, it's a good question. One we get a lot from a lot of parents and a lot of student athletes out there. And it can depend based on the student athlete. If you're making great strides, if you're a lot better 3 months after you make a video, if you grow 6 inches, you grow a lot, you get bigger and stronger, it's probably a good time to make that video anytime you make those big shifts or adjustments or changes. But as a generality, typically we talk about 2 videos a year every 6 months or so. So one at the beginning of the year, maybe one in the middle, one at the end. So 2 to 3. If we're a football player, maybe you want one after your first couple games of the season, and then maybe one at the end that encapsulates all your highlights. But it's something you can continue adding to as well. It's something that you can continue getting new clips on there. If you have more clips that really stand out, that are going to really make you pop, those are things that you want to continue adding to it. But at the end of the day, you don't necessarily want to be sending a college coach a new highlight video, a new skills video every 2 weeks. They're not really going to be able to pick up the changes. They're not going to be able to see the difference between one video 1 week to 2 weeks later. There's not going to be that much change in there. So you want to show those vast differences over a length of like 6 months or so a coach can actually see how much better you've gotten, how much bigger, how much stronger you've gotten over that time period.
Also, what we have a place for on the profile that's important for college coaches is stats. Kyle did mention earlier that stats aren't going to tell the entire story, but they are important to have, specifically in sports like swimming, track, cross country, golf, any number-based sports where your times or your scores are really going to tell the story. Those are critical to have on your recruiting profile. But if you're in a team sport, it's not as big of a deal. Again, keep the focus as much on you, but your stats can be a little bit misleading depending on the level of competition, depending on the league, the team that you play for. Something that's really become more and more common, Kyle, is verified stats. So in different sports, for like football with your 40-yard time, for baseball, softball, pop times, for volleyball, your approach jump. But that's something that's becoming more common is testing athletes and their measurables. And it's important to have those on the profile as well so coaches are able to see your numbers.
Yeah, absolutely. It's one thing to put onto your profile that you run a 6'4", 60 and just put that number in there. Coach is probably going to want to see, well, let's prove that. So there are different events, combines, showcases you can go out to throughout the year that are going to test some of those metrics and get you some official times. But this kind of goes back to the video as well. If you have some of those times and numbers, the video is going to showcase it as much or more than anything. That way the coach can test it on their own. They can really be the ones who are judging that. And we should say, if you want any help with adding video to your profile, you can check out our YouTube channel for more information on how to upload your videos to your NCSA profile. But going back into the numbers and the stats, don't want to downplay those. Those are still going to be very important because you're going to have some video where you have players that are pretty similar, but maybe there are some metrics that separate them. In sports like swimming and track, that is the biggest separator. That is going to be what separates maybe the athlete gets into a program that gets recruited, gets a scholarship versus the athlete who maybe has to walk onto that program or maybe isn't quite good enough to go into a specific program in general. So there are a bunch of different factors. That's why there are so many different areas that you can really showcase yourself within the profile itself, outside of just video, outside of just having a little basic information about yourself.
Great. We'll get some great questions coming in. So again, we'll get to some here in a few minutes, but keep them coming. Again, anything specific to our topic or anything outside of what we're talking about, we'll answer as many questions as we can. Also, for a spot on the NCSA profile is any events, any tournaments, any games that you're playing in, that schedule, having that available online. Your profile is something important for college coaches to see. Again, that has been impacted by the coronavirus pandemic, and typically that's something coaches are going to pay very close attention to if they do want to come see a student athlete play in person. Once they've had a chance to check out your video, they check out your stats, then they'll typically maybe want to come see you play in person if it's something that's doable for them. Again, with the limitations in place by the NCAA, college coaches aren't really able to do that. But again, it's still important that once everything normals out, to get your schedule, get all that information online. We've hit on a lot of the academic or the athletic side of things, Kyle, but equally as important and is a huge thing for the student athletes and their profiles is getting their academic information online. So transcripts, GPA, ACT, SAT test scores. Coaches want to see that information on the profiles just as much.
Yeah, it definitely can't be undervalued. It's something you touch on pretty regularly, is that if you have two student athletes that are pretty similar and you have a hard time comparing them, the first place coaches are going to go in a lot of those scenarios are going to be the academics. Is this a student athlete who's going to bring up our GPA as a team? Is this a student athlete who I'm going to be able to give some academic scholarship money to and save my athletic scholarship money? Is this a student athlete that is going to come in and hold others to a higher standard when it comes to grades as well? All those are big factors when it comes to the recruiting process, because it is a giant competition. That is something that factors in as well. And coaches want to know that this student athlete coming in isn't going to be a problem. This isn't someone that I'm going to have several conversations with about their grades, or talk with them about having to drop classes or to start adding new classes or taking different classes because they're not doing well in the classroom. That's the last thing that a college coach wants to think about and worry about, is that you can't make the grade in the classroom. So just having that mentality really bought in and as a part of you as a student athlete as a whole, from high school moving on, it just sets a good precedent for you going into not just college, but into the rest of your life as well, being that kind of individual.
Yeah, and that's one of the advantages for college coaches with our network, is they're able to see all that information in one place, right? They've got a chance to look at your video. They got a chance to look at your stats, your upcoming schedule. Okay, I want to check the student athlete's grades. Yep. He or she is somebody that we can recruit based on our academic requirements. So again, it's a one-stop shop for college coaches to log into the profile, have all that information at one click of a button, versus having to go to your counselor, your academic advisor at school, whatever the case is. So again, having that transcript is going to make coaches' lives and jobs much easier, and it also verifies that information. It's not just you saying, "Oh yeah, I've got a 3.5 GPA," when your transcript's actually a 3.0. That information is right there for college coaches to be able to see all of that. One thing we're going to talk about next week on our Facebook Live is really diving deeper into the academic side and eligibility. So that's something that we'll cover next week. But again, having that academic information having that on your profile is extremely important. Again, if I'm a college coach and I have certain minimum requirements and I'm searching an NCSA's network for, again, a 2021 outside hitter with at least a 3.0 GPA, that simplifies my search, and I'm not maybe wasting time searching student athletes that aren't going to academically be a fit for my program. Other places on the profile, you can add coach references. So again, always good to have somebody who will vouch for your character, your hard work, be able to, again, be a reference for you based on your past experience. So again, whether that's a club coach, a high school coach, a trainer, anyone that you've been working with that is willing to speak up on your behalf and provide a little bit more insight into the type of person you are, not just what kind of an athlete you are, what kind of a student you are. You can put those on there as well. And then Kyle, it's pretty simple, pretty self-explanatory, but your contact information, have that on your profile, and make sure that your email address isn't something really ridiculous. Media handles aren't something really ridiculous. Create a professional recruiting email or account. Again, little stuff like that is important in the process, and something that college coaches want to see on your recruiting profile.
Yeah, well, it's fun to have that Transformers Forever email address from when you were 12 years old. It's probably going to not look that great for a college coach. So yeah, definitely keep that tight, keep that professional. On the coach referencing side, just to add on that, a lot of people out there get it kind of backwards in thinking that their high school coach or travel coach is going to be the one who makes the initial introduction to a college coach, or that they're going to be the ones that market them to college coaches. And if you guys have that, that's great. Just from my experience being a travel coach, having had plenty of high school coaches, I just didn't know that many college coaches. I didn't know as many coaches as you could find in our network. So it's great if you have that type of resource that can help you out with that. But more often than not, your coach is going to be someone that they come to for a reference after they've already identified you and evaluated you, and they want to know about your character. So it's important to note just that the order that those are going to go in, typically they're going to come to your coach after they already know who you are, after they already know they're interested. They're going to go find out about your character from there. But yeah, make sure coaches know how to find you, because there's a million athletes out there, and if they don't have your phone number, they're probably not going to call you.